So good evening video audience. I just noticed a telepathic contact with an extraterrestrial who introduced himself to me as Nerami. I don't think Nerami can go in the timeline for pictures. I don't think I can get a, hey Brian, how dare you Photoshop that? How dare you, or use, I should call it image manipulation because I don't have a copy of Photoshop anymore. I almost want to say, go USA, because thanks to my countrymen, I don't have a copy of Photoshop anymore. Long story short, it's pretty much like America stole my copy of Photoshop and then replaced it. My fellow Americans might as well have walked out the door with really $4,000 worth of property now, and there's no way I can ever sue them for it at this rate. There's no way I can ever prove what happened. That's what you get for wearing an official uniform and doing this in an official way, isn't it? And so I noticed in this telepathic contact with Nerami, they mentioned an extreme concern, what I would have like extreme concern about is with the behavior of personnel at the United States National Security Agency's, did you say which division, Nerami? I noticed you seem to have a concern about the NSA's Directorate of Operations. You seem to have a concern about the Directorate of Operations at the NSA. And remember, official secrets. Remember, the concern was, right, that we citizens, even with official secrets that have leaked, that have been discussed or alleged to exist, because obviously if it was something going on in active operations, it might be officially denied, like with psychotronics technology. You know, what I was told by Nerami during this telepathic communication was for like a short social media post like I just issued on Facebook about psychotronics technology, that's machines that act on the human mind, or they're commonly called mind control technology. That there's really somebody in the NSA Ops Directorate who's going to go, okay, I want to pencil you in for an execution for talking about our psychotronics technology. And that's what Nerami seemed to be mentioning the concern was about. And that how does that work? Did they just schedule with Dr. Death, the Director of Science and Technology? Excuse me, Dr. Death, the Director of Science and Technology at the NSA? Because I don't know. That doesn't sound really fundamentally compatible with a democratic republic to me, having an execution without due process of law. And that doesn't sit right with me. That doesn't sit well with me at all. All right, Nerami, so I won't want to worry about that. Was that you, Nerami? All right, Nerami. So I can see how that would pose a grave concern for the future of any representative democracy. And frankly, I'm thinking right about the Weimar Republic. Get my pronunciation correct. I'm thinking about the Weimar Republic, how it went from a seemingly viable democracy overnight. I don't want to stoke fears about hyperinflation in our country in this time. And no, I don't. I don't feel like I have 1,000 dicks to eat because America was so amazing. I feel like there's all kinds of people who are my fellow Americans, and frankly, if you're worried about ending up in like a mind control or psychotronic situation where you're subject to the forced use of mind control technology on yourself, I'll tell you, yes, that's real. Yes, it's something that's out there in the audience. And if anybody wants me to accuse me of damaging public health in talking about this, what I'll tell you is we can't have how can we worry about public health? Like you're giving somebody, this is different in my mind than giving somebody else like a virus or contagion to talk about technologies that are going to shape the future of representative democracy as we know it. And I'm sorry to hear that I sound like Jacques Attali right now. And who is that there? I'm sorry, I was just tuning in somebody else via what seemed like psychotronics technology for a moment. And I'm going, I haven't read is that History of the Future by Jacques Attali? Looked interesting. And so I'm worried somebody wants to put me on like a funny game show or something where I'm, that's what psychotronics is. They can make you have, I don't want to call them hallucinations, but they can cause you to have intrusive thoughts. And this is true of people even without like implanted MK Ultra technology, which is deployed at public universities in our country. Basically, if something going on in our public university, that's going on in our public universities in my mind. It seems probable to me. And so I also don't feel like it's okay to say it's all just the liberals or something, because I know there's a political angle to this and somebody wants to go, hey, it's all just the liberals that are doing this, and look at what the liberals are doing. And I'm sure there's going to be a responsibility to go around with some of these projects, that it's not going to be all I won't say all one party's hands. Here we go with certain projects. Where, but that's not something I've been officially briefed about. I never, I've spoken about it in my previous videos. I was not briefed prior to my receiving synthetic telepathy technology. I almost want to say, like so many people in our country just walking out the door one day, hey, you got synthetic telepathy now. And I definitely didn't have all right during the Army now, son. Or welcome to the... Can I even say that on camera? So I was told some people, well, don't even know if I should talk about that on camera, because that's going to put it on need to know for them. And so what Nerami seemed to believe in the telepathic contact, and I can believe is more than some kind of simulated contact experience with Nerami. I'm sure that... that's the future representative democracy in our country. If completely without due process of law, a person could go to the NSA and say, well, this person's doing something that's, I want to say, double plus a good for our national security, where here we go, I want to sign off on an execution because they're talking about our classified technologies. And I would want to encourage people to do that more and not less. Because my concern is that they want to use something like the NSA's Blue Moon Group, and I don't know who the link is about this besides Alex Collier. And I don't know if the Andromedas have the support they need in every timeline to rein in the Blue Moon Group right now, or what's going on with alleged non-human personnel in the Blue Moon Group. Because one of the extraterrestrials mentioned something like there's a lot of timelines to track. Personally, I believe in time travel. I respectfully disagree with Alex Collier that I believe time travel does exist and alternate timelines are there. And I'm not going to pretend I comprehend it all. I wasn't officially briefed on time travel. I have experienced time travel phenomena for myself. And I'm worried that ethics aren't closely tended to in one of the U.S. time travel programs. I almost want to say, I haven't ever had an ethical concern with the Ancient Arrow project. With the Labyrinth group, I sometimes wonder which group member is which. With apologies to the Andromedas, because it seems like you're doing the best. I want to believe that they're doing the best they can with the tools they have, because the Andromedans obviously a real being and not just like a projection at me where. I was want to say it's like transformational grid work, but I'll try to put a link to something. I'll try to put a link to something I wrote about that in the description. Yeah, but that's not the topic of the video. The important thing is that citizens are able to go out there, and I know YouTube is subject to the same. Here we go with they don't want it in the newspaper. And with, something about this technology made the newspaper in Michigan. I'm going to have to look that up. It made the newspaper in Michigan back in the 90s, I want to say. Somewhere around then. And so the NSA really have something going on that's so corrupt there, according to the extraterrestrial that contacted me, that they're going to want to, just for talking about state secrets, I want to pencil you in for an execution, sir. I'll pencil you in for an execution right now. And I don't think that's okay, because citizens have to be able to go out there and discuss these allegations by people on the internet who say this is a real state secret. People have to be able to go out there and debate it. Otherwise, we're not a really representative democracy anymore. Otherwise, we're kind of sliding into this crypto fascism. I call it here, we're going crypto true fascism, right? True fascism, the true fascism of it. And so basically, I understand I'm not a stupid Android phone. Pretty soon it's going to be the Android robot, right? And that's a ha ha ha. It's a funny joke how the Android robot's there. I know I'm not a stupid Android robot reading the script now. And so I know there are people out there who want there still to be accountability within our intelligence community, and for you, I am very much grateful. For the people out there who want to make sure there's still accountability, and according to the intelligence community, I am really grateful for you. So thank you very much to those of you at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and elsewhere who are trying to make sure that there's any accountability, because I don't like that status quo that I don't know, I'm an NSA officer and I could just go over and try to pursue it for an execution under national security. I definitely don't think it's okay to use the extremely advanced resources of the Blue Moon Group to do that. And so that's a whole series on the capabilities of the Blue Moon Group. That's like a 60-minute rant about what I believe the capabilities of the Blue Moon Group to be. And I'm sure Alex Collier or... I'm hesitant to even talk about Laura Eisenhower after a response I had that involved her once, where Laura Eisenhower, Michael Sala, and others, I'm hesitant to even talk about them because I know, that's neither here nor there right now. I'm just trying to think of anybody else who has actually spoken on the Blue Moon Group resources. I can get people to learn more about that besides myself. I had an unfortunate Blue Moon Group experience that involved mental conditioning, where they came into my apartment, and there's been some property damage because there's been some property damage because to my property because there's some property damage because of the Blue Moon Group's behavior. And I notice my blood pressure. It feels like my blood pressure is increasing even to think about the Blue Moon Group, because I had such an unpleasant and ongoing experience with them. And unfortunately, I'm having a which timeline. Once I'm having a which timeline's Blue Moon Group, I'm frustrated or nervous extraterrestrial communicating with me. Okay, it seems like a frustrated or nervous extraterrestrial communicating with me. And so I don't know what to say about details right now. It's just if one of the extraterrestrials or somebody of the psychotronics regarded me, for example, with a name of government personnel that they believe to be involved in misuse of authority, by saying, hey, we just pencil people in for executions now at the NSA, that's all we do. We just sign you up for your execution for talking about official secrets on the internet, if you manage to get one correct. With certain official secrets, I just go, you bastards, you rat bastards at the NSA really want people executed for, just we'll call it wrong post on Facebook. Because even though Facebook's, I don't want to say vertically integrated. So I say vertically integrated about some of these companies. You could still get a discussion about NSA technologies. It's still got to be allowed on there. I don't think they're all immediately deleted for national security purposes. Not so worried about that website right now having, this post never happened, this post unhappened, and we just can't talk about that. Because for this, I would say to continue to be free, to maintain the last vestiges of the freedom that are left in this country, or that seem left in this country to me right now. What could be done though, other than compromise the names of the NSA Ops Directorate personnel to, don't say law enforcement. What are they going to do without, here we go, we give the names of these bastards at the NSA to law enforcement, where I'm sure there's a corrupt element that wants to pencil you in for your national security execution right away for talking about certain national security information. And I'm sure there's also some quality people who are just right there with me going, no, as Kat said, in a representative democracy, we need to be able to talk about these issues. Did you have anything else you think I should add? Nerami seems aware of me still. Do you have anything else you think I should add, Nerami, before I wrap this up? Because I'm having one of those that's just it mic drop moments. And so no, I had one viewer question today about what was going on with the Andromedans and the Blue Moon Group. And what the Andromedans seem to be trying to depict to me telepathically was it's kind of like they were trying to outflank the Blue Moon Group, where they're going around the Blue Moon Group, and what they were depicting was there's actually a third extraterrestrial alliance involved, where it's not the Zeta Reticulans type beings who are believed to be involved with the Blue Moon Group. And there's not the Andromedans, and there's a third ET alliance flanking some of the Blue Moon Group in one timeline. They're depicting to me. And there's just a different alliance, different group. It's not the one that's called Lyricus Group in certain European circles. It's definitely wasn't Pleiadians, and so I don't want to start a tall Nordic Rogue Federations drama. In some circles, to explain what's gone on with Pleiadians and Venusians over the years. I think somebody sort of the tall Nordic rogue federations, and I hope that's not those beautiful Pleiadians who enable Canada. Because once you want to call those beautiful, amazing Pleiadians who enable the Canadian government and Canadian technology transfer programs, because with allegations of extraterrestrial technology transfer programs and no, was it you? There's this one I will call her extraterrestrial, but I call Grandma. It's like I sense you right there. I know you're telepathic, so I'm just being very quiet. All right. And so, I introduced myself at the beginning of the video. My name is Brian Hess, and I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I support your rights to discuss what you believe to be official secrets in public here in the USA without being taken out for an execution for it. Because I feel like there's certain official secrets that are going to need. What are we going to do without having those regulated by the law? Because it seems to me like somebody wants an end run around the law, from what Nerami said. It's like, I don't want to have to use. I just want to be able to pencil you in for an execution without having due process of law. And I don't feel like discussing what I believe to be official secrets online that they can just say, well, it's the Official Secrets Act, motherfucker, and you got to die. And it seems like there's an element of people in our republic who are so corrupt that it's kind of not resembling a republic in that regard. Or at least not a just republic, where I'm going, if you want to call that a just republic where you just pencil someone in for an execution without due process of law, just want to start saying, you got another thing coming, buddy. You got another thing coming. I think I might just want to leave that here and say, good night, video audience. Good night, quite possibly.